Mm-mm.
And live
Oops.
stream
Okay.
live on Facebook. And this just takes a minute just to make sure we get it on the right page.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a lot of people who watch the live broadcast?
Not not a lot, and we just switched to Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
So people are just starting to get the message that we're switching. We were doing this on
Right.
Fridays, and we didn't switch because of like not getting a lot of people on lot watching on live, because we've had some where they have tuned in, but it's just with summer coming and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, people are just busy on Friday nights, so we just figured we'd switch it and see what
Yeah,
happens.
make a change.
Yeah.
I
Surprise.
was surprised more podcasts aren't live. I thought they would all be live.
Yeah.
But,
We
Yeah.
like it. I think it's I feel a lot of times the conversation tends to just become so natural when we're live.
yeah,
And if people want to, we've had a couple times where people had commented, so we can go off, have conversations with comments that they send in. So we tend
nice.
to like it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Makes it, yeah.
Absolutely.
They're part of it.
All right, so are you ladies still there? There you
Mm-hmm.
are. I somehow lost I didn't lose it, but oh, here we go. I found it. We're all set. Yay. All right.
Yay.
So welcome, Mary. Welcome, Laugh Lines and Turbulence viewers. We're so happy to be
Mm-hmm.
here this lovely Tuesday night. Although in Superior it isn't so lovely. It's cold up here.
It's
But
still. Oh.
yeah, we had some snow flurries today and we're supposed to get more snow tonight.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, we won't talk about that. We'll
We
make
won't
everybody
talk about all
depressed.
that.
Yeah,
No.
we don't want to depress people. But I'm going to introduce Mary. We're so excited to have you here. Mary Westheimer, who isn't ashamed to be 70, didn't mean to write What Nobody Tells You About Getting Older, a book about aging
Mm-hmm.
with both eyes open and a smile on your lips. Then she realized that her longtime collection of observations and helpful tips could help other people handle aging and life in general while not taking it overly seriously. Westheimer I'm not gonna call you Westheimer, I'm gonna call you Mary. Mary has written hundreds of articles for national, regional, and local publications, including USA Today, Columbia Journalism Review, and Publishers Weekly, and was associate editor of Airline America West Airlines in-flight magazine for 8 years.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then we have her website and her links, so we will add those when we go ahead and share the recordings with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, Mary, and
Good.
I have to say, Mary wore a tiara today, and she looks fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
I just knew this would be a party, so I just thought I should dress for
Well, I got chickens, and Debbie's got a festive shirt, so we're
Yeah.
good.
it. Ready to go.
So tell us about your book, Mary. I'm so intrigued
Mm-hmm.
about how that started off.
Well, it is sort of odd because I did not mean to write a book. It was not, I didn't say, well, I'm going to write a book now.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was that I'm a list maker. And so I just started making a list of why didn't anybody tell me this? And I have a lot of other lists, by the way. One day I realized I have like 40 of these things, and I think I could write a book. It was almost like a challenge to myself. And so I did. I sat down every Sunday, and I wrote and researched when necessary. But a lot of them were just things I'd observed. And I thought, why didn't anybody tell me this? So that's how it got started. And then, as you know, sometimes things take off. And I found Robert Chambers, who's a fantastic illustrator. And sometimes I think people just look at the pictures, to be honest with you. But it was a lot of fun, and people love it. And sometimes people who surprise me love it. So it's been a fun ride already.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. What
Mm-hmm.
type, can you give us some examples of the items that were on your list?
Yeah, yeah. One of my favorites is my maternal grandparents. Um, Anytime you would mention a phrase or something, they would break out in song in unison. And, I mean, it was kind of sweet. These are the
Yeah.
memories of their lives. And who can get past one phrase or two? Who can remember that? But back then, I was kind of mortified. Now I sing. And I see what happens. I mean, you hear a phrase and you think, oh, I remember where I was when I heard that or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's one of my favorites. And also, I will say, there are a lot of things that suck about aging, and to not be honest about that is, who are you going to fool?
Yeah.
So there are about 30 things, and I do give things you can do about these issues, but there are 13 good things. And then there are 13 things you can do. So one of the other good things is now when I go to the grocery, the songs, the music they play, it's my music. And so I just realized, like, what are they going to do? They catch me singing, like throw me out on Senior Savings Day?
Mhm.
I mean, so it's really kind of fun to observe. There are good things. I think they're more subtle sometimes, but there are a lot of good things. So those were both on the original list. They were,
Mhm.
Love that.
yeah.
So it sounds, I mean, I'm gathering from the way you're describing it that it has some humor in it as well.
Mhm.
Oh, a lot of humor. It has to. I
Good.
mean, if we can't laugh, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
at ourselves, got to laugh at ourselves and
Mhm.
laugh with others. I mean,
Mhm.
one of the other things that one of the originals, and this was from my parents, was I don't know about you guys, but I really get tired of the organ recital when people talk about their aches and pains and the
Yes.
doctors. I mean, it's like, really? We're living it. Do we also have to talk about it all the time? And,
Agreed. Yes.
oh, jeez. So that was one of the originals too. And so it was a lot of fun to get these things written down and to share them with others. And
Mhm.
one big surprise has been one of the really popular groups that love this book are in their 70s and 80s and up. And someone had said, well, they won't like it because they've lived it. And the
Mhm.
truth is, they think it's hilarious. And part of
Yes.
it is the humor,
Yes.
you know. So,
Well, and I think too, it's relatable.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they tried to tell us, and we didn't listen, you know. And that was one really wild thing that happened was that the book was all laid out, all the illustrations were done and everything.
Mhm.
And it suddenly hit me, oh my gosh, I think my mom tried to tell me some of this. And I said,
Yeah.
I have to add a few more paragraphs because I just don't think I listened to
Mhm.
her the way I should have. I learned a
Mhm.
lot. She's all over the book, but she was my mom. What did she know? And
Right.
now I see it differently. But back
Yeah.
then, what did she think she was telling me? I knew everything. Didn't you, when you were a teenager, didn't you know everything?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I was just telling someone today, I work as a social worker and so I do home visits. So I bring a just a nice little tote bag with some cute little items, med boxes, stuff that we need nowadays.
Yeah.
And the lady that I had given it to, the caregiver I gave it to, she's like, "Oh, I love tote bags. You always need a tote bag." And I said, I just said this today. I said, my mom was crazy about bags, and I thought she was nuts.
Isn't that funny?
I'm like, what is with her? And now I'm always like, I gotta get a bag. I got.
We're
Mhm.
all
Can
bag
never
ladies
have enough.
now.
Yes.
That's right.
It's true. I wonder if that's where the term bag lady came from because I have bags with bags in them. So I have bags with bags.
Yeah,
So I have bags of tote bags and bags of gift bags and just and then just bags with bags.
I know. And then I'll go and buy a bag and they'll say, do you want me to put it in a bag? And I'll say, it's a bag.
Yeah.
It's okay. But
Yeah.
you're right. I have a whole shelf full, Gina, of bags for different purposes, though, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, where'd Debbie go?
I don't
I'm
know. I
coming.
think I called her
Boy, we
Gina and
hear
she ran
ya.
away.
The
We hear
dog
ya.
was trying to get in through the door, so I locked the door. So he was
Oh,
just he's
oh
like, "What
my.
are you doing in there?" I'm being left out.
We're talking about bags. You
Talking
don't,
about
you're not
bags, yeah.
Well, we're laughing. They were
Yeah.
laughing. They probably went in.
Yeah.
They want in on the fun.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. So when did your book release? When did it launch?
It last year, so it's still
Oh,
an
good.
infant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, and it's really just a labor of love
it
to
is.
share this with people and to have them laugh. And I got a lot of stories from other people too, which was interesting and good advice on
Mm.
what to include. One of my friends, early readers, said, Mary, if you're going to write a book about aging, you have to talk about loss. And I've kind of been
Mm,
avoiding it because I
Mhm.
want to be funny, and it's
Yeah.
hard to be funny about loss.
yeah.
So I did write something. It's not funny, but it's kind of humorous. But it's a big part of aging, and it's
Mhm.
not just like dying. It's losing our abilities. It's losing friends. It's
Hmm.
losing the things that we value. And
Yes.
guess what? It's part of life. We've just got to
Yeah,
face up to it. And
Hmm.
so I included that. So it's was a group effort. We crowdsourced the book.
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's so important to get other people's input and
Hmm.
feedback. Um, and yeah, you're right. Loss is, more of a serious topic, but there are ways to infuse humor into, just little tidbits. It doesn't have to be
Hmm.
overdone. So,
Yeah. And
so
I think when you
yeah.
when it is how you mentioned before how important humor is.
Oh,
Mhm.
And even when you're grieving, you'll have your glimmering moments of humor. And my mother just passed, and
oh, I'm sorry.
no, thank you. But my brother and I had a conversation today, and tomorrow's her burial, but we had her cremated. And in all seriousness, my brother and I were like, he's like, okay, well, we're gonna go over to the cemetery tomorrow. I'm like, well, I'm gonna pick mom up. She's at the funeral home, so I'm like, well, I'm gonna call them to make sure she's ready, and I'm gonna pick her up. And we had just a moment of, because we've been really grieving and crying for the last 3 weeks, but
No.
we were laughing so hard this morning about, like, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go pick her up, and I'll meet you over there, and
Drive
hopefully
her
she's
around
ready,
for a little bit.
We'll see you then. Yeah.
and then I'll see you tomorrow. But you're right. Even when you're grieving, you can't lose your sense of humor,
Yeah.
because Gina, as you know, Gina talks about this and how therapeutic that sense of humor is.
Yeah.
And there's a release to that ha 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 when you're laughing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
So.
Robert's illustrations, and he's a very interesting man. I never met him until the first book signing, and that was the first time. Other than that, we talked a couple of times and we emailed, and he did all these illustrations, or 52 illustrations, just based on the text. And they're so funny. I mean, I
Hmm.
still laugh when I look at some of them. He had such a
Hmm.
great take on some of these things. He said it was like writing or drawing for a political cartoon.
Oh.
You want to, not hit it on the nose,
Yes.
but take it to another level. But
Yes.
we have to laugh. We're not going to make it otherwise. Well, I'll speak for myself, but
Well, and you look at some of the greats, the funny people, Betty White, and it's not. I
oh,
Hmm.
mean, we've had losses of funny people at younger
Yes.
ages, but um, they speak so much on, if you see their interviews, how humor has been an integral part of their life.
Yes.
And um, I don't know, I just think it's a great perspective to have, and it lightens the heaviness of life.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I totally agree. I don't know that I would have survived. I think that's always been important in my life is if I can make somebody laugh, it makes me so happy. And I don't
Yes.
even care if they're laughing at me. I don't really care. I just want to make them laugh. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. And it brings us together in
Hmm.
ways that being
Mhm.
serious doesn't, I think. I mean, we have to be serious sometimes, I guess.
Hmm.
But laughter brings us together.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel more memorable. I
Oh,
feel when you meet someone or you have a conversation, and humor's involved, or you've made them laugh, they're going to remember that more, how you felt, how you made them feel in that moment. And sometimes I've had people later on say like, "Oh my God, that story you told was so funny," or you made me laugh
Mhm.
so hard. And I still remember people. Gina, even when we worked back in the day together, I still laugh out loud of stuff that we laughed about. And those were really the most connecting, memorable moments, for me. So,
I think it was Maya Angelou who said, I'm going to butcher what she said, but I'll paraphrase, if people aren't going to remember what you looked like or where you were, but
mm,
they will remember how you made them feel.
yes,
And, I
yes.
think laughter, what's better than that?
Hmm. No, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a great
Very
quote. I'll
cool.
have to remember it sometime.
But I think you've hit it pretty close on the head. You've hit it on the head. Yes.
But I
Mhm.
think that's why laughter works because
Yeah.
you actually have a physical response.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And all the other physical elements that your endorphins,
Yep.
kick in, and just again like that release. But yeah, and sometimes I think to myself, gosh, it's been a really long time since I've really like had a good laugh. And so you're kind of like, no matter what age you are, like, being in your being near 60, I still look forward to like fun at work, fun with my friends, fun times. So
Mhm.
I still really appreciate those moments as well.
And this was something really weird that I learned, but it's true. One of my early readers said fake laughter does as much good as real laughter. So
Mm,
he's alone now, and and he said every morning with his cup of coffee, he just does a fake laugh. But there's research that says it releases endorphins and
Mhm.
it
wow.
does other good things, which seems crazy, but
Hmm.
I'm so glad it's true.
Yes. Yes.
I went to the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor conference last
Oh,
year in North
wow.
Carolina, and I'm going to be going to the next one in San Diego next week. But it was amazing because the last day of that conference, they did a laughter yoga session.
Oh,
And excuse me, it was a little different than a laughter yoga I'd done years ago that I was like, I don't like this.
huh,
It was fun. They incorporated fun, walking like a penguin and laughing.
Mm,
But they had us take a picture of our face before we started and then after we were done. And it
huh,
was remarkable how it lifts.
huh,
I can't explain it,
yes.
but it lift you can see the considerable lift in your mood
Yeah.
in the second picture. And yeah, it's amazing. And then there was a tool, I don't know where I learned it, but that if you put like a pencil in your mouth, it uses
yeah,
the same muscles that you use to smile.
huh,
So that can boost your mood. That
Interesting.
your body thinks that you're
Yes.
huh.
smiling. Hmm.
That's fascinating. Both of
Yeah.
those are amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We can fool ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not in a good mood, people, stick a pencil in your mouth and walk around.
Not straight in, not
Not
straight
Well,
in,
in.
not
Yeah.
straight in, right? Well,
sideways.
that goes along with the phrase "fake it till you make it" in a way,
It
Yeah.
because
does.
if you really sit there, if you sit there, you know, fake it till you make it. Like, I'm going to make myself happy by doing these exercises, because if you're sitting there by yourself and you start reminiscing of all the bad things that happened in your life and you have a little pity party, you feel crappy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden you're walking around all mopey, and you just set the tone for your day. But that makes so much sense,
Yeah.
doing these exercises and you know making yourself happy by just walking around with a pencil.
And
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of comedy because
Yeah.
Hmm.
when my previous husband died, my brother back then, it was before the internet, so he sent us tapes of Rocky and Bullwinkle and all this.
Oh,
I still do. I still watch and listen to comedy all the time because I need something to laugh about quite often now, and it
Hmm.
really does help.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I
hmm.
love it. I love laughter stuff, as you can
Oh
tell.
yes.
Yes, yeah, 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 but I think you also acknowledge in the title of your podcast, it's not always smooth sailing, and we
That's
do
right.
need to be aware, and that we're not alone in that. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing about the book that I've really been pleased is people realize, oh my gosh, you mean other people have the same issue? And yeah, pretty
Yes.
much everybody, but you don't know because you probably don't complain about it or talk
Right.
about it. But
Mhm.
we're not alone in these things. And when we can share cool little ideas like
Mm-hmm.
putting pencil in your mouth, I love the picture thing where you took the picture before and after. That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really interesting. And it was fun. They had different laughter yoga leaders
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
taking turns. So the
Oh,
next one would go up and do a new activity. But
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't the first one I did years ago. It was like tapping yourself. And
Mm.
tapping is supposed to be healthy
Yes.
too.
yeah.
But you're tapping
Yes.
and you're laughing. I'm like, this is really weird. But like acting out like being a penguin and walking around the room and laughing at
Yeah.
each other, that like really engaging yourself in something silly like that was a lot.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, especially in a professional setting. That's really extra interesting because I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we think, well, we have to be like formal and people need to see us being serious to be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when we laugh, we're loose and people
Hmm.
know we're comfortable and people are drawn to success,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, and they want to be part of it. So
Mm-hmm.
in a professional setting, actually laughter really has a place. I mean,
Yes.
Hmm.
there are
Mm-hmm.
moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think also now when you talk about it, laughter, makes you become more present, in
Hmm.
in your current surroundings. You're just, it's just having presence and, observing what's going on in that moment.
Yeah,
So,
good point.
mhm, yes.
Who wouldn't want to be there?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and it drowns out the dwelling on stuff
Hmm.
that is again heavy or that we can perseverate on, right? The pity me. I call it some people gross out, but I think it's a genius. A coworker of mine used it, but eating your poop sandwich, right? So, she would say,
Yeah.
I'm just eating my poop sandwich. But it gets you out of the poop sandwich
Hmm.
mode
Yeah.
and can really um, improve your day. Do you hear my cat? I hope you don't hear my cat.
No.
No,
That's
no, I don't, but I
okay,
would be
Mm-mm.
good.
okay with it. No,
He's
I
quiet.
started with my dog and my cat playing. I don't know if you heard that, but I'm over here
I
grabbing
saw
the
him run.
dog
I saw him running
again.
behind you.
Oh, and she walked by. Yeah. She wants to be part of it. What can I say?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So what was an aha moment for you, Mary? Like because I know you had mentioned in your
Hmm.
form that you sent in that, 50 was a long time ago, but was there an aha moment when you hit 50 or around that time of your life?
well, I love that question because there were probably two big moments. And the one was when my late husband died, but I was only 36. And that was really it was a horrible time because he died, then one of my cats died, and then
Mm-hmm.
my biggest client went bankrupt, and then my other cat died, and the dog and I are looking at each other going, well, it's you or me, babe. And anyhow,
Yeah,
I just realized I am not in control. And
yeah,
that's when I started a spiritual journey, which for me is meditation. And
Yes.
but I realized I'm not in control here. So
Hmm.
that was huge. And then the other one was closer to 50. Um, well, I think I was a little older than that, but who knows? I don't keep very good track. Um, and that was very strange. And it was about feeling. And I began to realize that I had approached my whole life sort of intellectually,
Hmm.
like I'm smart, so I can figure out anything. And I was ignoring how I felt. And the strange part is that that was not only feelings like emotions, it was also physical feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my ability to touch something and feel it. I did not realize how closely they were connected. And so I still do exercises every day to remind myself because, I spent 50 years thinking about everything instead of doing it. And
Yeah.
that's been really huge. So sort of getting to know myself through touch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think those are both really pivotal moments in my life.
Yeah.
And you have to have lived some life to get to some of these moments.
Yes, that's the wisdom part too. I,
Yeah.
I believe living through those moments and acquiring all that wisdom through so many years, you really you develop even more in your journey.
Hmm.
That's the way that it's a journey
Yeah.
the whole way through.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think as you grow older, if you're paying attention, which is critical, and I bring that up over and over in the book, like you are the world's greatest expert on your health. Because
Mhm.
even though there are doctors who know a lot about how the body works, they don't know what's going on in your body,
Right.
but you have
Right.
to pay attention.
Yeah.
And so this awareness as you get older and you start realizing, well, I'm not really good at fill in the blank. So I probably should hire someone else to do that so I
Hmm.
can do what I'm good at. But you don't know that when you're 20.
Right.
You just can't. And you also haven't had the experience to figure out what you are and aren't good at. But
Hmm.
we benefit from that awareness. So I think that's on the good list.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
Definitely.
and the fact that you had those losses, do you feel like at such, I mean, I'd say that's an early age to have
Hmm.
all that back to back. Do you feel like that contributed to the not feeling? Do you feel like, or do
Hmm,
you feel like that was something different?
that's really a great question. I never have thought about that.
Hmm.
It's a really great question. I've always just thought that I thought I could intellectualize myself through anything. But
Hmm.
maybe I was stuffing it, trying to say,
Hmm.
well, I'm just not going to feel, in
Mhm.
general. We'll
Hmm.
just do everything that way. But I'll have to give that some thought. Thank you. That's very
Yeah.
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, and
Hmm.
just having those experiences early on in your life, your
Right.
ahas started coming, with a
Yeah,
rude awakening.
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all have traumas to deal with. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's crazy to think you could get through life without dealing with a few things that were painful. And
Hmm.
it's how you deal with them that
Yeah.
really will affect your future.
Hmm.
If you want to wallow, good luck.
Hmm.
It's not
Mhm.
going to go well. It really
Right.
isn't.
No.
Yeah.
I think reflecting too, I feel
Hmm,
going through some of those traumas is sitting back and saying, what have I learned from this?
absolutely.
What did it show me? What did it show me about myself? What did I learn from this? How can I use this that has happened to me for, the to grow even more in a beneficial way?
Yeah.
So I feel like every phase of our life and everyone we encounter is our teacher. I really believe
Mhm.
that. So
I do too.
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Hmm.
really do. And many years ago, I got a list of things from a woman who called herself the problem dissolver. And she said, you're not done with the problem until you're glad you had it. And
Mm.
that can be tough sometimes.
Yes.
But, and you don't always get the answer why something happened.
Right.
But
No.
a lot of times, if you're patient, you do. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, and
Love
the
it.
other thing, I'm not ignoring everybody. I'm just pulling up our Facebook just to make
Hmm.
sure we are getting in comments. Um, well, and the other thing too, kind of tagging on what both of you are saying is,
Hmm.
you have these experiences that aren't pleasant, but what we learn through that and being able to, I truly feel like we're witness to these things,
Hmm.
to experience these things, and we can either wallow in it or we
Mhm.
can take our wisdom from it and help
Mhm.
others.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I I have seen so many people. I mean, Jana, she's one of the ladies that we interviewed on our podcast,
Hmm.
right early in our podcast, but
Yes.
she had had a terrible loss of her mother, and
Mhm.
she
Yes.
it traumatic loss, and she took that, and her mom was hit by a baseball in
Wow.
at a Dodgers. Was it a Dodgers game,
I
Debbie?
I see it was a Major League Baseball
Yeah, and
game.
so
I
she,
forgot which one.
yeah, but she took that and
Hmm.
she started advocating for nets to be further around to
Yes.
protect people.
Yeah.
And so she used that as a launching to help
Mhm.
others.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then she wrote a book which educated, like I was so amazed in reading her book because I didn't know all these nuances. Like
Hmm.
have the fine print that you enter
Mhm.
that ball field at your own risk. And
Mhm.
so it's
Hmm.
like, wow, just what she did with that, what we
Mhm.
do with the things we experience,
Yes.
Yeah,
we have a choice of what we do with it.
True.
absolutely.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that unfortunately right now there are a lot of people who are almost professional victims, and that's who they are, and it affects their whole life in a bad
Yes.
Yeah.
way. I think
Yes.
you have, like you're saying, you have to work through it in some way. If
Hmm.
you don't get to know what the gift is right away, and you may or may not, you can still find small things that you
Hmm.
realize, oh, I would never have understood this if I hadn't experienced it,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
whatever. But uh, there are things there, and they will reveal themselves over time.
Hmm.
So, I mean, in her case, she got it right away, but
Yes.
we don't always get that gift. So,
No.
Right, right.
I think when you're in that victim mindset, your power is taken away from you.
totally.
And once you get out of the victim mindset and
Mhm.
you start to either do something with it, learn about it, learn what it's taught you, or do something that's good with it, is you get your power back.
Mhm.
Boy, I
So,
so agree. That is really well
yes,
put, Debbie.
yes, thank you. Hmm.
Yeah, we all have that opportunity, but I think
Hmm.
it's a muscle. We have to exercise that muscle.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And taking that time to, you mentioned meditation, taking that
Hmm.
time to reflect. And then also, like, one big thing that it's book after book after book that I've read and listened to is gratitude and
Hmm.
Mhm,
how
Yep.
much that plays a role
mhm,
in
Hmm.
our lives
mhm.
and how that can help us, even if
Hmm.
it's gratitude for one little thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, having gratitude shifts your whole mindset. It shifts your body chemistry.
All of that.
It just is it's and people it's very hard for people when I tell them I teach meditation, but when you
Oh,
have gratitude, something small every day, like Gina had said, your life just changes so dramatically. It really
yeah.
and telling people when I tell people just practice 3 gratitudes every day, just write them
Hmm.
down. And when
Hmm.
they seem resistant, I don't it's the resistance to me that is so surprising. I always tell them, "What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose if you have?" I go, "What do you all you're doing is writing down 3 gratitudes today." Yeah, it's so much easier to do that than sitting there in the victim mindset, the woe is me. If you shift and get into the habit of doing the 3 gratitudes a
Hmm.
day, or even just one a day,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
miraculous how everything changes. And
Yeah.
you got nothing to lose. I say you got nothing to lose. What's so hard about writing it down? It really is nothing.
Maybe a little ink or
Maybe a
maybe a
little
few
ink, yes,
pixels, but that's it.
but
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
I
it. Yeah.
agree. Very
Hmm.
powerful. And do you recommend at the beginning of the day or the end?
I I usually when I do meditation, when I meditate, I usually do my 3 gratitudes just before meditation,
Hmm.
along with 3 gratitudes and 3 intentions. If I can't think
Hmm.
of three, I'll do one, but either way. Or I'll tell anyone when is it comfortable for you? When are you quiet? When no one is constantly badgering you? Is it when you first wake up in the morning that you feel fresh, that you could say, I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful I opened my eyes. Or before bed, before you lay down in bed, I am grateful. I
Hmm.
had a great day. This person talked to me. Someone made me laugh. So when I tell people usually, whenever you have a chance where you can really think about and reflect what your gratitudes are, just go ahead and write them down anywhere. But I always encourage them to write them down because there's
Yeah.
that energy transfer from your mind to the paper.
Yeah. And
So,
through your hand,
yes,
something internal. And I
gets,
think that's really true. That's
yes,
interesting. I've always heard, say them, but I've never heard write them down. And I think you're
yes,
really right about that.
yes, writing them down. And there's that whole, I believe in that energetic transfer from your body, your from inside your body to the paper. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Very interesting. I wonder
Hmm.
if people ever reflect on them later.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
have,
even
yeah.
Have
and
you?
I've heard a another even extending it even more. So, I'm grateful for my cat. Why?
Hmm.
And just extending it to because he makes me feel loved, or like
Hmm.
what is the reason for that gratitude for that thing or that whatever.
Wow. So you go a level deeper,
Hmm.
really.
Yeah,
Huh.
I've heard read a couple of things to go deeper with it.
Hmm.
I think either way works. As long as you're practicing that gratitude,
Hmm.
taking that time to reflect
Hmm.
Yeah.
and put yourself in a positive mindset.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. You guys have given me so many wonderful things to do. One thing I have to find a pencil.
Well, it might be in Gina's mouth,
this way.
but this way, not the other way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
So that's
gosh.
that's fun. No, it's great. I love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. I do every day. I get this little daily email from a guy named Christopher Doris, and he said every day say what's amazing in your life.
Mm,
Somewhat similar. And
yes.
I'm surprised. It makes me stop and think. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes I have to dig a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Sometimes it's my cat,
Mm-hmm.
or my dog. But I think I'm now going to add the gratitude piece too, because
Yes.
I have so much to be grateful for.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I always tell people, start out small because
Mhm,
you're
mhm.
you're you're now forming a new habit.
Right.
Right.
And you're dropping an old one and you're shifting into a new one. And pretty soon it's going to be, if you just start out small, like I said, just be something you're grateful for. And you can elaborate on that, at another point, like whatever works for you. And I always say it's such a fine line between this mindset to this mindset.
Hmm.
And once you start shifting your mindset by these small little habits, like
Mhm.
the gratitudes or being present or laughter, that opens your eyes to opportunity. If you're
Mhm.
constant in victim mindset, you can't see the possibilities of opportunities in front of you.
Yeah,
Can't
you're
see the
protecting
forest through
yourself.
the trees,
Yeah.
Right.
or
So
however you say
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So you once you start shifting that mindset and being grateful and have that, also like a little detachment to it, then all of a sudden you'll get a call from a friend or we do a podcast or you, Mary, how you got on our podcast, things just start popping up and there are connections being made. So
Absolutely.
it's so beneficial. Yeah. I mean, it does. I mean, it does. There's no harm in it. There's no, and
Well, it
there are
just
no
makes me
calories
happier.
either.
Pardon?
No calories either. And
Yeah,
practicing
very true.
gratitude.
A very good point.
Yeah. It's calorie free. It's sugar free. It's all of this stuff.
And you can do it anywhere, you know.
Yep. You could do it anywhere. And who cares? If you start mumbling out loud, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks either. You know?
I remember the first time I saw someone with a earphone,
Yes.
and it was in a grocery, and I thought, oh, that poor woman, she's talking to herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out, no, she's not. She's having a conversation. She
Yes.
must be very important.
I always
Love
think the
it.
people that have those headsets on,
Yeah.
at my job, sometimes I have people come on the airplane and they have these headsets with the microphone. And I'm like, are you taking orders for Time Life magazine? What do you do? Like, are are you air traffic control but on the plane? What's going on?
Welcome to McDonald's.
I
Yeah.
know. I
That's
try so hard not to say something when they have the headset with the microphone. If you got a full
That's so
headset with the
funny.
microphone and you're just casually walking through the airport, I'm gonna look at you and question some things.
you're gonna order a quarter pounder with
I
cheese and a
know. Right.
fry.
There's so many jokes to go along with that, you know?
That's so funny.
Yes. So,
Oh,
hmm
Mary,
yeah.
you mentioned two books that you found inspirational and helpful. One of them is Three Simple Steps by Trevor Blake, and the other one is Kurt Wright's Breaking the Rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so what about those books would you say inspired you the most or you found most helpful?
Well, I think Three Simple Steps is very interesting because he makes the point they're not easy, but they're simple. And he talks about it. And one of them is meditation. And he
Mm,
talks about how
mm,
important it is. And that's
yes.
where it really got me meditating.
Yes.
And I think he was the one who said, for women especially, because our minds are so busy, start early in the morning
Mm,
before we get going. And that was
mm.
really helpful to me. And then I'm trying to, okay, I've already forgotten the other one. Gina, what was the other one? Oh, Kurt Wright's
um,
book. That
that's right.
was a super interesting situation. I was in the book business for many years and I was doing a speaking engagement in Denver. And he came up to me and he said, I would like to give you my book. And a lot of people would say that. I'd like to give you my book. And I would always say, don't give me your book, sell your books. You should be selling them because I can't read them all. And I don't want them to be disappointed. And he insisted. And it was a hardcover book with a dust cover. I mean, I knew this was an expensive thing. So I finally said, okay, thank you very much. And I ended up reading the whole book on my way home on the airplane. And it is just full of amazing information.
Mm,
And one of the things that he said that I loved was um, he said he gave you nine dials and he said zeros in the middle. And he said, now move that needle whatever way you need for, and then each one would have an emotion or,
hmm
family or whatever. And then after you did the exercise, he would say, okay, now just reset everything to zero. Don't even look below zero. And this was mind blowing to me, was that first of all, I could control it. And
Uh-huh.
why not start from baseline instead of
Yes.
going, I could have, I should have. And so that really had a huge influence on me. So that was
Mm,
one of the things. And
Nice.
there were some other things like he talked about, he was a consultant and how he would be called in these big corporations
mm,
and asked to help them with big issues. And one of them, the example that he used was he was called into a company that had a performance contract. They had to get a job done by a certain time,
mhm,
and they were way behind. And they called him in, and he just walked around and said, "What would happen if you got this job done early?" And he said at first they treated him like he was crazy. It does
mm,
sound a little crazy. But what it does is it shifts your mind away from rational thinking, the left side of the brain, to the right side of the brain, because the left side goes, I don't know what to do with that. I have no
yes.
idea. So you shift into that creative side where you can do some really creative thinking. And
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. We have a problem, you don't know what to do, and I just go to crazy right away.
Mm,
And but actually an optimal outcome. And indeed, my brain says, well, what if you did this? So it's super powerful, but
yes.
unexpected.
Yes. I love how you mentioned shifting from the rational mind to the creative side of the mind because that rational side, although rational, it keeps you safe, but
Yeah,
also could be limiting. S-
very true.
Yes.
Well
Yes.
put. Yeah,
Love that. Yes, I
yeah.
love that. I can't wait to look for that book too. So thank you
Well,
for
he's
sharing that.
gone now. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. He was
Okay.
old when I met him, but I have seen it online. I think you can buy used editions.
Oh my
Sure.
goodness. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Wonderful. Yes.
I'll
yeah.
check it out. Yeah.
That's what happens when you're old, is you like old books.
That's amazing. Well, Mary, thank you so much for joining us. We are thrilled to have you,
Mhm.
and we'll be posting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously is live on Facebook, so that'll keep going. But we'll post your links if people want to learn more about your book or you. What's the best way that they can find you?
Well, there's a website,
Okay.
uh, whatnobodytellsyou.com.
Okay.
And there are actually, I think maybe I just put up the 17th fact snack or chapter. Because I really try to keep the chapters small so that
Mm-hmm.
they're digestible, but they're full of information.
Mhm.
I plan to put the entire book online because I realized that my real goal with this book, frankly, nobody should go into publishing or writing a book if they want to make money. That's like a crazy idea. It might
Word.
happen, but it's not a good goal. And anyhow, what I realized was I really just wanted people to have the information.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm putting the whole thing online.
I
So the
love that.
whole book is going to be there, but right now they're already what, not half, but close. And then also there are ways to buy the book. So the book's
Okay.
available on all the online outlets, and also you can get it in bookstores. Sometimes you have to ask. Shelf
Yeah.
space is very dear,
Mm-hmm.
but you can get it. And also, if you want it autographed, though, you have to get it from me. So you can look at the website. You can contact me from there. There's my funnier bio because you got to be funny.
Yeah.
And some of Robert's
That's right.
illustrations, which are great.
Yes.
So that's the best way,
Wonderful.
whatnobodytellsyou.com.
Amazing. Mary, thank you so much.
Well,
We
thank
are
you.
so grateful and so appreciative having you on with all of your wisdom and your humor,
Mhm.
and sharing all that with us. So
Well,
we're very
thank you for
happy.
the opportunity. And what
Yes.
a great conversation. I
Oh.
love so much. I learned. I have to take notes.
With your pencil once you find it.
That's right. I can't bite it in two or anything.
Well, thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you both.
Hang on real quick, Mary. We're just going to take it off a live real quick. So just hang on with us real quick.